So, welcome back to the shop. Now we're talking, I think we're on part 3 of the never-ending story of making silicone molds. I've gotten a bit ahead of myself and started out already. I've made trying to make a dump mold now out of MoldMax 60 for pouring tin into. So what I'm making here is basically the same thing but now we're going to show you how to do it properly. This is the I don't know, one of the official ways. So all I've done is I've glued the intermediate masters that I cast in the previous video out of smooth cast 300 onto the cutting mat with some hot melt glue, and now I'm sealing the perimeter of this mixing cup that I've cut the bottom out of with some more hot melt glue. And when that is done, we're going to mix and pour some smooth cast, MoldMax 60 into that, and we'll let that set overnight, and then we should have our final mold. And the idea here is that since making the designs out of supersculpey is a bit time consuming and not the best thing in the world, so that's why I made the intermediate molds, so I can cast more resin copies of them. So here I have two different designs. So, and that will make then 4 of these small horseshoes for your dwarf pony. So that's the general idea. I'll glue this up and then we'll mix some silicone and pour it into, and yeah, see how it goes. So now we're done with at least the hot melt. So we're going to try our hand at the good stuff, which is the MoldMax. So let's get at that. It doesn't look terribly out of focus. So this is the MoldMax 60 silicone compound. Yeah, I'm running lots of stick out. Sue me. Usually try not to cut myself. So here we go. Oh, mold, mate. Yeah, high resistant ultimate sunbreak kit. Yeah, right. How to marketing wank. Here we go. Here's the stuff. No thickener. Store room temperature, blah blah blah. Plain sealing. Foundry patterns, yes. We're definitely working in foundry right here. But what we actually are interested in is the big bucket. That would be part A. And part B, which is also comes with its little tag on. Like everything here is going to kill you, blah blah blah. Yeah, no, read this stuff actually. I've already done it. Lightly skimmed through it at least. So I know that it's not terribly bad for you. It's not ideal either though. So definitely think about what you're doing. Become a fan on Facebook, yeah. Okay, so this needs even less, 100 to 3. Now, I think we're gonna go for maybe 400 grams of this stuff for this specific pattern. So this is the good stuff right there. So we need 400 grams of this, and we are going to try to not kill ourselves. Oh, very fun. So we are going to do our mixing in one of these slightly bigger cups. And we're going to try to pour ourselves around 500 grams. Oh no, 300 I said. No, 400. Definitely 400 grams of this good stuff. There doesn't seem to be a seal on this bucket to open. What? This is an industrial class fucking bucket. I think you need to cut these. Cut slots. Oh well. What do you know? And now we're cooking. Sorry for faffing them out. So, yeah, that's what it gets. And yeah, we should probably put on some gloves right about now. Because, as usual, you don't want to get this on you. Even though it's fairly benign, but it's messy. And I'm lazy. Yeah, look right at that. Oh, good thing is if you manage to cut yourself on the whilst removing the lid, then at least nobody will be able to tell because it will be covered in this red goo. I'm going to try to pour this as neatly as humanly possible. $433. Close enough for me. To wipe down our gloves a bit. This is a thing took me half of my life to figure out that actually whilst wearing gloves you can still, it's almost like red paint. Jeez. So we have 435 and for every 100 grams of that stuff we need to add 3 grams of this hair stuff. So we'll get a small mixing cup. You should really put down a sheet for that stuff to pour down on. And then this red stuff gets everywhere, so I'm going to change my gloves since I don't like cleaning very much, so we try to keep it nice and tidy so that my drug dealer scales doesn't get. These are actually really, this was the like $10 special on eBay, but they are really good. Work just wonderfully. Wonderful little scales. It doesn't cost you a cent. Oh well, they cost you exactly the 1,000 cent. No, 10,000, maybe 10,000. Yeah, 100 cents per, yeah. 1,000 cents. So we're going to pour out 13 grams to be exact. Okay. Ooh, and this one's blue. Oh, they really went funky with the colors with this one. If it hasn't become clear already, I actually have no idea what I'm doing. Excuse me. That's a bit short towels. Yeah. So we're going to wipe off our fingers and the utensil, since, as I told you before, as long as these two aren't mixed, they make a huge mess. And the hardener is a bit too expensive to use to clean up, just to set the stuff you spilled on the floor. So we are going to have to do this quite neatly. So 12 sets, 13 grams. Tank. $14 grams. We're fine with that. That's good enough for our purposes. Put that there and check our hands for contamination. Put the scale out of the way. So now we're ready to mix this stuff. We got the harder, the blue stuff, and the red stuff. And these need to go together just as every other silicone by mixing thoroughly. This doesn't set very quickly. It sets actually quite slowly, 24 hours, hot life of 40 minutes, so it's a bit more than the MoldMax we were using earlier. So we're going to get that there, throw the paper cup in the bin, and thoroughly mix this until it gets, well, blue and red. It's going to be garish, dark purple color. I want to mix this quite thoroughly, since we're not having an awful long set time. Like hot life is 40 minutes, so you can take your time mixing this. It has this. I'm actually fairly certain that this stuff contains iron oxide, aka rust. Specifically, if I remember my chemistry correctly, it's oxide, iron 3 oxide actually, which because of this very dark red color, as long as it's not lead. I think there's a lead compound that actually gives you the same dark red color. And remember to scrape down not only the sides of the bowl, but also your mixing stick and the bottom. Try to get into the corners as well. This is where a clear mixing cup is quite useful, because you can check if you have streaks along the side of things. And the trick with mixing all sorts of different things is to, have a go at it, mix it until you think it's mixed, and then mix it some more. This is the rule for mixing just about everything. And clearing silicone, like you see, I've dribbled a bit, because I'm not a tidy person. The trick with silicone is that it will not stick to anything. We're going to need that later. So, there's our silicone. Now we're going to pour it, or I'm going to move the camera. Just a moment. And as with any other silicone, this should really be vacuum degassed, but I don't have it. Right equipment. Chair, put it away. So we're just going to pour it from on high. And here's another trick for you. Do not hit the surface of whatever you're molding. Hit the table instead with your stream of goo. That way it will fill in and you will avoid air bubbles on the surface of things. It has a very weird smell, this stuff. Couldn't really smell anything with the MoldMax 25, but this stuff has this weird, I don't know what to call it. Oh fuck, did I mix too little silicone? Oh dear. I think if I scrape out the bucket we're going to be just fine. But yeah, this is probably a lot higher density than the other stuff. So yeah, I might actually mix too little silicone, but we'll see. Due to the quite insane pot life, you could actually just mix a wee bit more. So we're back. My camera cut out while I was pouring and I didn't know this. Have to look into why my Canon does that. But yeah, I mixed a bit too little because my calculations for how much I needed was based on the amount I needed of the Smoothcast 25. Didn't think about that this might be actually a lot higher density, which is apparently was, so I mixed out 150 grams, making a total of 550 grams and poured that in as well. It shouldn't be much of an issue since we're talking about silicone here with quite a long pot life, 40 minutes, and it will take 24 hours to cure, so just filling up with more silicone shouldn't be an issue, or at least I think so. I can't see why it wouldn't, because silicone even adheres. If I would let that set and pour more on top of it without applying a mold release, it would stick to itself, because silicone doesn't stick to anything except the silicones. So we should be good there. You see the dribbles and stuff like that, I'm going to let that cure and clean that up, because this like the other silicone, not such a big issue, but this stuff, this is really like, it's like red paint. I also made another discovery. Brake cleaner works wonders on the part A without the hardener in. So that's nice. Brake cleaner, everyone's favorite libation. So yeah, so we're going to let this cure for a 24 hours, and then we're gonna get back in it and demold it and hopefully have some sort of mold. You remember me talking about mold release? I forgot to apply that whilst filming and faffing about. I can't really blame it on filming, I would have forgotten it probably without that, but so we'll see. I hope it doesn't really stick. This isn't some extra special silicone that sticks to bloody everything. I don't think so, but we'll see tomorrow. Otherwise I'm going to have a permanently adhered silicone disc to my cutting mat. Okay. I'm going to mourn the loss of the silicone more than the cutting mat, because these aren't very expensive. This one's 20 euros or something. So, but the silicone on the other hand, it could be close to 20 euros of silicone actually there. I don't know, the whole bucket is like 120 euros. So yeah, but we'll see tomorrow how we did, and yeah, hopefully we did well. But yeah, we'll pick this up when the silicone has fully cured.